So basically, we aren't worth anything unless we got an American stamp on our behind.
Not only did China just break the World Free Trade Agreement,
US imposing tariffs itself violate the free trade agreement. In this situation, if two people choose to fight each other in a certain context, we know what we are getting ourselves into. Maybe he will break my nose, maybe I will break his.
You're telling me that America has all you rich and famous people looking stupid? You fake it, you fake. You ain't the real thing. You got that little cheapo Gucci bag. You telling me that the Gucci bag, we could go get a Gucci bag from China for $300? So all the bags that people used to say that I had was fake. All the bags that people used to say that I had was fake. Oh, that's from China. That ain't worth nothing. You told me I got rid of that shit.
China says it's open to trade talks with the U.S., but only after President Trump meets its requirements, like reining in remarks from his cabinet members. Sources tell us that other conditions include a more consistent U.S. position and a willingness to address China's concerns around sanctions and Taiwan.
If you don't know what that is basically Trump and America ready to cave. They are ready to cave, and China's like, oh, no. No, the fuck not. Don't start no shit. Won't be no shit. You chose to start some shit. Now we gonna finish this shit.
Hey guys, I don't know if you have seen all the videos about Chinese factories that have been going viral recently, from luxury bags to small commodities. There have been so many in the past few days that I have seen by myself, and I even saw someone who I know I used to work with. But today, I came across another interesting video. I feel I have to respond on this, so let's take a look first.
not only did China just break the World Free Trade Agreement by doing what they're doing, they also just proved Trump's point on why you cannot trust China as well as manufacture in China anymore.
My friend, do you know why this is called as a trade war? Of course, saying war is a little bit too formal. Let's use fighting instead. Fighting is very simple and directly, and it's also my favorite way. Sorry for saying that, but I'm from the north side of China, so in this situation, if two people choose to fight each other in a certain context, we know what we are getting ourselves into. Maybe he will break my nose, maybe I will break his. Nobody knows. But we choose to stand here and fight. Yes, someone may get hurt, but this is the risk we all know and choose. After everything's over, no matter who wins, we all know each other as a respectful fighter. Then, after the fight, of course we can meet up for a drink, or become friends, or even collaborate with each other. It's no problem. Now let's go back to the video. The guy in this video said that these Chinese factories are breaking the free trade agreement by selling their products through TikTok, which means China is messed up now. And I gotta say he's partially correct, because if they are a supplier for some big brands, they would be sued by those big brands, no matter where they're from. They're taking these risks when they're making their choice. Although I'm Chinese, and I fully support these factories, but as a person who works in this area, I can tell you that most of them have a great manufacturing skills, it's no doubt, but they are not the main supplier of the big brands. I will dive deeper and explain why there are so many Chinese factories on TikTok recently, but first, let's talk about the free trade agreement. Let me ask you the same question. Do you know why it's called a trade war? I can see this guy is respect the rules a lot, but before you conclude that China is breaking the rules and messing things up, let me ask you several simple questions. What do you think about the fact that US imposing tariffs itself violate the free trade agreement, which also break the law by GATT, General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, WTO, World Trade Organization, or the International Trade Act since 1973? Or how about US pulled out from the Paris Climate Agreement, left the World Health Organization, or withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, or cancel the Intermediate Range Force Treaty? Not even need to mention about the US export controls on China, sanctions on China's companies like Huawei, AI restriction like DeepSeek, or even all those EV brands. I can do this all day long. But I'm just curious, are all these actions follow the principle of your free trade? You can simplify these two countries into two persons. In the past, not only China, many other countries as well was often bullied by the US in this street. I'm objective and I'm realistic. I know China has been beaten up so bad many times, but we had nothing to say because we were weak. So we trained, we go to gym, we worked out, learning new techniques, building our mind and muscles. Now we are strong enough. I went back to the same street and meet up the same guy who bullied me all the time. He came up and slammed me again as usual. But this time, I'm ready. So I stand up and slap back. And I thought we're going to have a fight between each other. But suddenly, this bully pulled out his phone and started recording me and yelling at, "Look at him! He slapped me! He broke the rules! He crossed the line!" What rules are you talking about? We all know that the competition between China and the US is intense right now, and there will be definitely a lot of voice trying to slander China at this stage, just like in the past 30 years. To be honest, this type of slander is nearly in all social media, and of course I saw them a lot. I find it annoying, but I never really angry with it, because I know this is what we're going to face if we choose to stand here. But hearing an American judge China's counterattacks using free trade rules makes me feel like speechless, disgusting, and embarrassing. I would rather hear him saying something like made in China is cheap and low quality, or even some classic rumors like sweatshop whatever. It's better than this. But judging these Chinese factories with your free trade rules because they retaliated after the US imposed a tariff on them, I just don't understand. According to your free trade rules, under the US free tariffs, the Chinese factory and workers who lost orders, as well as the American people and families watching the price going up, they should freely pay the price for this and don't do anything but just obey your free rule. No way. The time have changed, my friend. If you don't know what is a trade war, it's time to know now. Of course, I stand with China because I am Chinese, and I also stand with normal people because I am normal people. I used to visit many factories around the world, and I know many bosses and the workers there, of course, including American. It's totally different from what a sourcing guy see on the PowerPoint slides. The slides may saying that, okay, we have American beef factory there with 300 employees, but those numbers for me are not just the digits. I have been there. I know their name. I know how they looked. I know we drink together and have cigarettes together. They are working so hard for their car loan, for their rent, for their college fee. And I know they are trying their best to live a good life. So eventually, we are same. We are just hardworking normal people. I don't want any normal people to suffer too much in this trade war. As someone in this field, I want to help normal people find other ways to live better, which is also why I started making videos. Now, let's talk about those factories on TikTok. Let me explain why this is happening. Overall, export to the US accounts for about 13% of Chinese total export. If you're looking at the big picture, tariffs do affect China, but not significantly. The data is there. But if we look into individual factories specifically, the impact could be ranged from 0 to potentially fatal. Because I used to work with many factories before, and each factory produce different specification of goods with different production line, depending on their target market focus. There are many reasons behind it, like market demand and supply, the market competition, the regularity requirements, and supplier requirements, etc. If my factory are focused on produce goods for Asian markets only, like we say I do Japan market, I'd be sitting in my office, drinking a tea, and reading newspaper about the tariff war. Because it doesn't concern me at all. It's none of my business. But for some factories that exclusively produce goods for US market, suddenly all their orders disappeared because the tariff. Bankrupt is what awaits them next. So they are trying their best to selling products at a lower price just to survive. But at the same time, I have seen many factories claiming they are the supplier of the big brands. I even know some of them personally. But don't worry, they won't get mad at me because of saying this. In any business, I value transparency, efficiency, and precision, and making money through a fair competition. That's how I do things. That's also what they know before we work together. Let me be directly. They are a supplier, yes, but some of them only supply certain components or parts to big brands. Let me give you an example while trying not to name anyone. Take a branded bicycle, for instance. All these high-quality products you see are usually assembled from high-quality components made by different specialized factories. For example, for the same bicycle, the frame from factory A, tires from factory B, chains from factory C, and gear system from factory D. So the factory A, B, C, and D can all be called a supplier for this big bicycle brand. Don't get me wrong, I'm super confident on Chinese factories. Some of them can absolutely produce goods comparable to big brands. It's no doubt, easy peasy. But some of them, they are just specialized in making certain components. Like, if my factory are making zippers for luxury clothes, we make the best high-quality zipper in China. Of course, if you ask me, I would say I'm the big brand supplier too. But if I trying to make a complete clothes by myself, maybe they will as good as our zipper. But at the same time, they may not working that well. Of course, it also depends on the factory itself and the product. This also explains what I mentioned in my last video about the FTA issue, the free trade agreement. the real major suppliers would have a NDA, the non-disclosure agreement, signed with the brands. They will be sued by saying they are the supplier in public. So even they say, screw it, we are done with US markets, no more working with American companies. But they still need future cooperate with other countries. Doing this would damage their credibility. So most likely, the real big supplier, they wouldn't take such actions, to be honest. Let's be straightforward. As a guy who works in this area, of course I know such behavior is harmful. But under this current trade war condition, we're discussing the market rules between US and China is meaningless because the rules have already been broken by US. All of us, everybody, factories, workers, consumers, are trying new ways to protect our own interests. In other words, we are trying to creating a new rules for this game. So my suggestion is, if you want to buy some cheaper and small items, then just go ahead. Buy them directly. Because Chinese factories' average production quality is absolutely elite. And with that price, it's definitely competitive. So if you're looking for some low-cost small items, no matter putting in your home, putting in your car, you don't need to worry. When you see something you like on TikTok, just contact them directly and place order and try it out. But to be honest, if you want bulk purchases or relatively a bit more expensive, higher quality and guaranteed products, then you will need more information and experience, plus some negotiation skills to filter better suppliers. Actually, I highly recommend people consider higher quality products, because in this scenario, a small price difference paid by consumer can bring a much bigger quality jumps. Taking my personal example, I love eating kiwi fruit, especially with yogurt. It's just perfect. But the kiwi fruit in China only grow on the south side, but I live in the north side. So buying them here gets much more expensive. Sometimes I gotta spend like 40 yuan per bag. If I want super fresh and super good kiwi, it may cost me 70. Then one time, I visited Guizhou, which is a southern city, and it's kiwi planting central as well. You know what I seen there? Everywhere on the street, it's full of kiwi fruit. Basically just around 5 yuan. So for me, I feel like it's almost free. So at that point, I don't care whether it's cost 5 or 5.4 or 6.2, whatever. I just want the best quality within a reasonable price range. If somebody told me, okay, this batch is the best, it tastes good, it's juicy and big and fresh, but it costs 8 yuan, no problem, I will buy it. Because in here, when I pay extra several yuan, I can get a quality improvement that might cost extra 30 or 40 yuan when I back to the north side. So, in my opinion, the better idea is not looking for the lowest price, but need to balance the cost-performance ratio. I know it sounds a little bit complex, like, I just want to buy a phone case, I don't want to spend several days on that. So currently, I'm working on compelling information resources to help my followers better screen products in a more easy and time-saving way. I will make this series of videos very soon, because I don't see this as a temporary trend which I want to play around. I truly hope we can build a new game rules together. The consumer around the world can use affordable and high-quality product in their daily life without any stress. The factories don't have to squeeze their production costs to make low-quality product to fit in various markups in the market. I want us to build a new and transparent rule together with everyone. Please leave a comment of where you live and what kind of product you're interested in. I will include them and give you a recommendation of how to choose it and where to buy it in my following videos. It's the time now.
There is so much discussion on TikTok about luxury brands made in China at the moment. I know a lot of people want to give the luxury brands the middle finger, but I do feel like we shouldn't spread misinformation. At the end of the day, the money is in consumers' pocket. It's in our pocket. We make the decision where we spend that money. Any brands, any company, any manufacturer in the world are here to make money. They're not above making money. They want what's in your pocket. So we need to remember we, the consumer, controls the power. I buy bags that are authentic, made in France, made in Italy. I buy bags that are made in China. Personally, I want to remove the stigma of made in China is low quality. China cannot make luxury stuff. I think a better outcome is not for Chinese manufacturers' bag factories to sell fake handbags. I think it's a good opportunity to demonstrate to the world that they can make world-class leather goods that are luxurious, that are really beautiful. And more up-and-coming designers, luxury brands will consider using China and put made in China on their bag. and let Chinese manufacturers to bring your beautiful design at an affordable price, but also at very high standards, like very luxurious, very durable, very beautiful standards. Is Hermes made in China? No. I cannot sleep because I just found out that Bethany Frankel follows me back. We're friends on TikTok. Anyway, I think we all see the guy from China, I think Wen San. He heavily implied that he makes Hermes bags. It's not true. He doesn't make Birkins. Birkins are not made in China. Do I think he can make mirror quality Birkin bags? Yes. It's not rocket science. He might not be able to find the exact same leather and hardware, but you can get very close. But it's not the bag that Hermes sells. This is not me trying to pander to Hermes, but I don't think we should lie. I think we cannot mislead people. I have already made this video about Hermes. The things that's like has a slight chance that's from China is the hardware and also the thread they're using. But actually the thread is a French brand, but ironically the brand does have China in their name. Hermes never disclose where they get their hardware, but things like hardware is typically made in China because China has the technology and world-class manufacturing to make really good quality hardware. Is it to say it's impossible to make it in France? No, maybe France has the same technology and manufacturing as well, so it's not clear if hardware is from China or not. Leathers, Hermes own their own tanneries. Their exotics are from Africa, Southeast Asia, US. So they do make their own leather. Yeah, so everything is made in France.
Stop. Don't buy the product you see from TikTok directly from the factory yet. You do not know if it's real. So I spoke to one of the factory owners and he told me, in fact, most of the companies that you see on TikTok are probably trading companies. And what are trading companies? So trading companies are like companies that curate like a range of products from the factories to sell, and usually they are good in marketing and they speak English, because most factories, they focus on production and usually most of them don't speak English. So that's the difference. And so what will you do? So if you're very keen on a product, I would suggest don't buy through WhatsApp. It's too dangerous. You're not sure if you're going to get anything in return. So ask them to direct you to their company profile on any of the platforms, Alibaba, 1688, Taobao. And then you review like, how long they've been around, customer feedback, repeat purchase. And then from there you can get a gauge, like, do you trust them? And actually, there's a high chance they are trading companies. So maybe on the platform, you could find a factory, because usually similar companies will appear. You could find a better one. So do your research before you buy, because the last thing you want is to transfer and get scammed in the process, Yeah, that's what I recommend. And stay safe and buy safely and don't overspend.
We all know Chinese people love money. We wish each other to get rich for New Year's. And we have this saying, 挡人财路如杀人父母. Translation, if you stop other people from getting rich, it's the same as unaliving their parents. So Chinese people will not back down from this trade war.
I'm glad you watched to this extent. Thank you so much for being here. Kindly like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your love and interaction to my previous videos. I appreciate that you're taking this channel to the next level. And I'm so glad that we are doing this. Let's address the elephant in the room right now. We have to acknowledge this, and it's a fact. Right now, China is not only fighting tariffs, It's not just a trade war for China, but it's also a propaganda war. China is also clearing misconceptions that have been there against them. And imagine when they came online, they had to do double effort. Imagine all these factories looking for people who speak English to come and speak about their product, to show the quality of their product. It's been a hassle, you could see it's been hard for them. And at first we were seeing comments in the comment section. We were seeing, oh, we don't want anything from China, China is fake, China. And that's how social media, especially the Western media, has been speaking about China. And we know, we are aware of this. We had Speed who traveled to China, and he was also clearing some misconceptions that were already there, and also propaganda that were spreading. So we are addressing this so that you understand the effort that these people had to do to come online, to show their products, to emphasize on showing, to even go live and sell their products to people, and to even lower the prices so that they can believe them. So China is also dismantling propaganda during this period. So if you're part of the people who thought that when Trump will come up with tariffs, China will just sit back and relax and pause as if nothing is happening, so you are wrong. And you've seen the reality. So these are people who work so hard for what they have. And you know, it's a big population and everyone has to fight. The competition is so high in China. So these are people who work so hard, and when you come to joke around what they do, they will come up. And we've seen Americans appreciating their moves, and I hope people are learning on how to deal with crisis. They have created a new game. I don't know where we're going with this. Is this how business will be happening right now? Like, yeah, let me know in the comment section. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Because it's impossible for you to paint a spoon that is feeding you as a beggar, you know? China is feeding the world and the world is painting it as a beggar. And right now, it has to prove that it's not a beggar first before convincing people to buy their products. Can you feel the hustle? That's what I want us to understand right here. These are my thoughts on this video. I don't want to be biased. Thank you for being here. Like, share, and if you also agree with what I'm saying, kindly give me a like. Give me a like. Also subscribe, and also share your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? What do you think? Let me know.
Alibaba, get off here. AliExpress, get off here. Amazon, get off here. Do not search for goods in this plan for anymore. You know that? Because there is full of middlemen and your cost is already ate up. So you need a direct and a more direct way to search for goods. So come here, I will check this out for you. This is our warehouse. 4 floors altogether. There is full of stock goods. You said stock goods is bad quality? No, just torment. Let me tell you, they're not. You see, okay, this 20 cents and this 20 cents. You see how incredible that is, right? And we have 30,000 products here, 20 cents on average. If you are interested, come here, contact Alice. I will be at your service.